petrol bombs, tear gas, lathi charge. West Bengal has turned into a battleground. Thousands of residents in West Bengal, led by BJP Karyakartas and Yuva Morcha leader Tejasvi Surya, hit the streets of Kolkata to protest against political violence and the killing of BJP workers in the state. As if to prove them right, Mamata Banerjee responded by unleashing the full wrath of the state machinery on peaceful protests. The reaction in the media was minimal to say the least. Why? Because political violence has sadly become part and parcel of West Bengal's culture. But how did this happen in a state that was once the fountainhead of the Indian independence movement? Let's go back in time to understand the state's culture of political violence. The roots of political violence in Bengal can be traced all the way back to the Naxalbari uprising in 1967, spearheaded by the CPIM. A few years later, the 1971 war broke out, leading to a massive influx of Bangladeshi refugees in the state, causing an even greater strain on the state's infrastructure that created more unrest. The following chaotic years saw several uprisings by the peasant class against the ruling Congress regime, which increased CPIM's popularity and culminated in the Left Front's victory in the 1977 elections. The Left Front then went on to rule West Bengal for the next 3 decades. During this period, it made political violence, booth capturing, and voter intimidation its primary tools to retain control over the state. It was only in 2008 that their influence began to wane, when on the back of anti-incumbency and a struggling economy, Mamata Banerjee led a fierce campaign to topple the 30-year-old establishment. In 2011, the Left Front suffered a humiliating defeat as the Trinamool Congress INC coalition swept the elections, winning 226 seats out of the total 294 seats. This could have been a game changer for West Bengal and effectively put an end to its culture of political violence. However, Mamata Banerjee's TMC simply adapted the same tactics as that of the CPIM. Houses from the CPIM cadre simply shifted base to the TMC and, armed with their experience in political violence and hooliganism, oversaw the repeat of the last 30 years of tyranny in the state. We're all too familiar with what has transpired in West Bengal ever since. The TMC has employed unchecked violence, booth capturing, and other coercive means that would put even the CPIM to shame. Mamata Banerjee may have come to power opposing the communists and their methods, but not only has she adapted their methods, but taken them one step further and evolved them into all-out terrorism. Time and again, TMC workers have been caught red-handed engaging in terror activities. The infamous 2014 Burdwan blasts, an explosion took place in the same building that housed the local TMC unit. Upon further investigation, it was established that terrorists of the Jamaat-ul-Mujahideen Bangladesh were engaged in bomb making on the very floor above the TMC office, and that the explosion was a result of their activities. Despite the fact that the entire building was owned by TMC leader Hassan Chaudhary, Mamata Banerjee instead shamelessly pointed the fingers at security agency RAW and had the audacity to blame them for the blasts. 5 years later, in another instance of open defiance against India's federal structure, Mamata had ordered the arrest of CBI officials upon their arrival in West Bengal to investigate top cop Rajiv Kumar and his role in covering up the Mamata government's hand in the Sharda chit fund scam. It's quite clear that Mamata Banerjee is running her own fiefdom in West Bengal with little to no respect for the law, the constitution, and zero space for political dissent. As of June 2020, at least 100 BJP workers have been killed in West Bengal since 2014. After defeating the communists in 2011, Mamata has become the very monster she loathed. How long will Bengal bleed for the arrogance of its power-hungry chief minister? For the sake of democracy, for the sake of clean and transparent politics, and most importantly, for the sake of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee must go.